The lore of Yixuan. Yixuan had a dear sister, Yijiang. Yijiang was always the responsible sister and protected Yixuan no matter what. Everything was fine as long as the sisters were together. One day, they bumped into a Shifu who promised them food and shelter as long as they did some chores and trained in the temple in the mountains. However, with the limited funds that the Shifu had, his promises fell true and the sisters relied on each other to not go hungry. It wasn't like the Shifu was actually evil or anything like that. He looked like he really tried his best to provide for his students. Years later, both Yixuan and Yijiang became the talented star martial artists of the temple. They worked hard to protect and help the people. It looked like nothing was impossible as long as the sisters were together. However, on one unfortunate day, the sword that the Shifu used, the Qing Ming sword, was revealed to slowly take away all of its users' senses and memories, eventually turning them into a hollow shell as they fade into non-existence. With the last of his might, the Shifu used the sword to protect all of his students from the ethereals and perished as he was consumed by the sword. With this knowledge, Yixuan tried working her very hardest so they wouldn't have to use the sword and let it claim another victim. But with the hollow disaster being such a dire situation, there was no other way but to use the cursed sword. Yijiang inherited it and used it to save people time and time again. But more importantly, she used it to guarantee Yixuan's safety. In time, Yijiang felt the sword devouring her, eating away at the last fragments of her senses and memories. Eventually, in her final moments, she used the Qingming sword to save Yixuan and passed on the hope for the future as she faded away, forgetting everything that was important to her. After losing her sister, it looked like Yixuan somehow merged with the Qingming sword and gained its powers without the side effects of losing her senses and memories. Her W engine is literally called Qingming Birdcage. Come modern day, Yixuan is now a Shifu who rivals the Void Hunters in power and has talented disciples such as Zhu Fufu. She now carries the heaviness of her past with her as she works hard towards a better future for the good of humanity. Perhaps this was why Miyabi felt like they could be good friends, as they both had incredibly difficult pasts, have similar goals, and also had their own encounters with exceedingly dangerous swords.